$1,000.
You're my blood. What am I gonna tell her?
Have some fun.
A little coke money doesn't hurt nobody, you know?
Thanks for watching my analysis of director Brian DePalma's 1983 American crime film Scarface, written by Oliver Stone, produced by Martin Bregman, and based on the 1932 film of the same name, directed by Howard Hawks. Scarface stars Al Pacino as Tony
Montana.
Stephen Bauer as Manny or Manolo, Michelle Pfeiffer as Elvira, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio as Gina, F. Murray Abraham as Omar, Robert Loggia as Frank Lopez, and Angel Salazar as Chi-Chi.
Get the Yeyo.
However, before I get started, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the Godfather of Cinema, movie reviews and more. Give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit the bell so that you won't miss any new videos that I'll upload in the future. In Brian De Palma's 1983 film Scarface, every action has an equal opposite reaction. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. Up and coming Miami drug dealer Tony Montana visits his mother, whom he has not seen since getting out of prison, and he has on a new suit. However, his mother is not gullible because she knows that her son did not buy that fancy new suit with honest money. He bought the suit with tainted money. So when he hands her $1,000 in cash, she throws it down on the floor and kicks him out of her house. But Gina runs after him and takes the money.
You take that. You don't tell her anything.
That her mother despised and rejected. And in doing so, Gina eats the forbidden fruit because she knows full well that the money is dirty, but takes it anyway. For contrary to what we've been taught to believe, money in and of itself is not evil. It's how money is made that makes it good or evil.
Get the Yeyo.
Tony's mother knows how he made the money that she rejected. And Gina also knows how Tony makes his money. She is no fool, so the money itself does nothing to Gina. However, it does bring out what is already in her. And Tony gets to see this side of his baby sister when he catches her in the last place he would expect to find her, in the stall of the men's restroom in the Babylon Club, snorting coke and making out with a drug dealer, the same little sister that he put up on a pedestal and even threatened his best friend Manny for calling her beautiful.
Okay.
But what about Tony? Remember, he was released from prison and given a second chance after Cuban leader Fidel Castro emptied out his prisons on America. Stuck in an overcrowded refugee encampment, Tony receives an offer from Miami drug lord Frank Lopez to kill Rebenga, a former general of Fidel Castro who had tortured his brother to death. In exchange for this favor, Lopez promises Tony a green card and to get him out of the refugee camp. Now Tony has the option to reject Frank's offer, as his mother rejected the blood money he tried to give her. But like Gina, who finds nothing wrong with accepting the tainted money from him, he finds nothing wrong with accepting a tainted green card from Frank Lopez to murder someone. As Adam and Eve find nothing wrong with eating the forbidden fruit, and as eating the fruit exposes the corruption that is already inside of them, Gina accepting the tainted money from Tony,
You take that. You don't tell her anything.
and him accepting the green card from Frank exposes the corruption that is already inside of them both. As accepting Tony's drug money exposes the corruption and hypocrisy behind the facade of America's righteous image. Like the bank that rents Tony's cash for a huge fee, like police detective Bernstein, forcing Tony, a drug dealer, to pay him for protection, and like Tony's high-priced lawyer who couldn't care less about the fact that Tony's a drug dealer as long as he can pay the bill. Which brings us to Elvira, whose infertility is a metaphor of the corrupt hearts of those who accept Tony's money. The turning point in Scarface and Tony Montana's character arc occurs after he is charged with tax evasion.
You're not kidding. Put him up against the wall.
He faces years in prison if convicted, but luckily his supplier Alejandro Sosa has friends in Washington who can get Tony's tax evasion charge reduced to a fine instead of prison. But Sosa and his powerful friends also have a problem. There is this activist going around to all of the major television news outlets accusing Sosa and his friends of some very bad things, such as how they are filling America's streets with cocaine and violence. Sosa and his friends need Tony to silence this activist permanently in front of the United Nations with a car bomb. Tony has no problem with this. In fact, he will do as much to stay free as he did to get his green card. Tony has no problem blowing up a car for Sosa. However, he does have a problem blowing up a car with kids for Sosa when he sees them get into the car with their father. This crosses a line for Tony, who shoots Alberto through the temple. Good day, motherfucker! In order to stop him from activating the remote-controlled bomb underneath the car. And with this singular act, Tony comes full circle. At the beginning of the film, he accepts the offer to kill Castro's former general in exchange for a green card. Now, he accepts the offer to kill someone else in exchange for his freedom. However, this time is different because he discovers something that is more valuable to him than the green card or his freedom. In the beginning of the film, he loses his soul but wins it back in the end by siding with his conscience. Here's a few things you may or may not know about Scarface. That originally it was Al Pacino who got the idea to do the remake after seeing the original 1932 film in Los Angeles. Did you know that Sidney Lumet was originally chosen to direct Scarface but left the project because of creative differences he had with producer Martin Bregman? Lumet wanted to blame the Reagan administration for the influx of cocaine within the film, but the producer didn't want to go that route and brought in Brian DePalma to direct the film and Oliver Stone, himself a cocaine addict, to write the script. Did you know that the Motion Picture Association of America initially gave Scarface an X rating until an appeal board composed of theater owners, studio executives, and independent distributors overturned the X rating and replaced it with an R rating? Did you know that Al Pacino and Brian DePalma objected to casting Michelle Pfeiffer in her now iconic role as Elvira due to the fact that she was an unknown actor at that time? Also, did you know that Pacino patterned Tony Montana after Hall of Fame boxing champion Roberto Duran, whom he also sparred with to develop the character's body type? Anyway, thanks again for watching my review of director Brian DePalma's 1983 film Scarface, and be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the Godfather of Cinema, and hit the bell for more film analysis and reviews like this one. I will see you soon.